And please forgive me. My 2-year-old decided to wake up in the middle of my session, so he wants to trade, I believe. So he's looking
Yeah.
at the charts.
Okay,
All
good
right,
stuff.
so this will be brief. Just to start off, um, I think I met Richard briefly a while back. Um, in Devon, I'm not sure if I ever spoke to you guys, but I know you guys been around. So just right off the bat, based on some of the questions that I've seen on the actual chat, um, I would say 90% of these questions fall under psychology, right? Whether you're aware of it or not, um, you know, what is psychology, right? Anything that you do in life, especially when it comes to the market, right? This phenomenon, the market that everybody is so intrigued with, you are going to need psychology. There's no way around it. Whether you realize what you're going through, what you're trading, it has all to do with psychology. Some of the questions that you ask is psychology. Just for example, the one question is how many trades you get per day. How many should I have? And I think Richard answered that, right, with one every other day or something. So that's all psychology. You can't look at it in that sense, and I know it will take time for us to adapt, right? It's all psychology. Um, if you put a number on it, then obviously you start training your mind to believe. Eventually, that's what you're going to do. Every 2 days, it's going to come to mind. Every 2 days, I need to get a trade, and you don't want to think of it that way, right? You pretty much want to look. You want to be neutral. So today, the mentality I'm going into the market with is whatever the market decides to give me, that's what I'm going to take. So if it gives me no trade, that's still a winning day, so to speak, right? And if I get one trade, that's still a winning trade, whether it's a losing trade or winning trade or not, right? Because we don't know what the market is going to offer us at any given time. So it's a 50-50 regardless how good the trades look. Other examples that, Russell gave us, uh, how the retracement of the 2 and the 3 candles came back and kissed the trend line, the M6 trend line, right? Even that could be a trade that go against you. We don't know. So that's why it's important for us to stay neutral. The more trade we lose, the more psychology plays in our mind, the more we think we can't do this. And that's why we must practice psychology each and every morning. I do it every morning. That's my first thing. I practice it. I go over my plan. I go over certain things. I know when I'm getting in trade. I don't enter early just because I think it look good and that's what's supposed to happen. You have to see it. Otherwise, you're training your mind to pick bad trades, and eventually it will be a disaster. You'll have a short career. So we don't want to do that. So when we talk about psychology, what do we mean? Well, what we mean is that we have to understand what our day is looking like. And I find that the more I plan my days, the easier it is for me because I understand what needs to be done. So if I jump to the market cold without doing my morning routine, then I'm already at a disadvantage. I'm doing too much thinking. In the market, it doesn't require a lot of thinking. Because if you are thinking too much, then you're going to see something that's not there, right? You're going to do something that you shouldn't be doing. You're going to take a trade too early, or it's going to look so good and you're going to take it too late. If you miss the entry, fine, move on. Get to the next one. There'll be many, many other trades. If Justin could get 2 to 3 trades, and I'm sure there's a lot of trades that he's missing because life happened, right? But if you get 2, 3 out of one pair in this 28 other pairs, what do you think? What do you think? Don't chase them. Don't chase them. And trust me, this is from 10 plus years of experience. Once you chase a trade, eventually you train in your mind to chase the next one, then the next one, then the next one. Before you know it, then you created a habit. And we don't want to create habits in the market. The only habits we want to have is looking at our strategy and follow it to the T. And only then you'll become a professional trader. Only then. So that's what I mean when we talk about psychology. But why don't we go a little farther than that? So let's define what psychology is. What is this phenomenon, right? So the scientific definition of psychology is the science of behavior in the state of mind. Keep that in mind. The science of behavior. And we just talked about your behavior in a sense. Right? We touched up on that. Right? You taking the trade too early. You taking the trade too late. That's your behavior. That's not a market thing. That's a you thing. Right? And we have to take responsibility. And often now we don't take responsibility and we want to blame it on the market. Or it's the market that's doing that. It's this that's doing that. It's the kids that's waking up. It's my 2-year-old that wake up too early while I'm talking to you guys right now. No, that's my own wrongdoing. Right? So if I didn't let him sleep too long yesterday during his nap during the day, he wouldn't be up right now. So I can't blame that on him. I got to blame it on Mark, on me. And it's the same approach you got to take in the market, right? When you make a mistake, own up to it. That's the only way you're going to be able to move forward. By blaming the next person, you think, oh, now it's off my shoulder. I can feel good now. But what you're creating this mass in your mind, right? Because the mind has its own mind, if that even makes sense to you. So the more you do one thing, it goes straight down to your subconscious. It leaves your conscience. It goes down to your subconscious. Then it take pictures. It memorize it. It look at it. Just for future reference. So when you have the same behavior, when you do the same behavior, when the same behavior actually occur in the future again, then guess what happened? It goes down to your subconscious again. It remember when it happened the first time, then it happened the second time, then it happened the third time, then guess what your subconscious is saying at this point? You know what? I've seen this dance before. I've seen this jazz before. It must be something that he or she likes to do or want me to do, so I'm going to act accordingly. You have to be careful of your behavior. When you do something, acknowledge it. If it's wrong, if it's right, acknowledge it. If it needs fixing, then fix it. Right? That's your behavior. That's not a market thing. That's a you thing. That's a human thing. That's a trading thing. Right? And then we have the second part of it. That's the state of mind. Where when your behavior is negative towards the market, then your state of mind becomes negative as well, because your subconscious said that's something you want me to act on every time it happens. Then your state of mind becomes your behavior, right? Then psychology go on and says it's also the study of subconscious and consciousness, right? As well as your feelings and thoughts. Well, your behavior and your state of mind create those feelings and thoughts. This is extremely important, guys, as a trader. That's why all the chat stuff and all that stuff is easy. You can learn that stuff in no time. The psychology of it is the part you got to be careful, because you don't realize that's what's happening. You think it's the chart that's not acting right. You think it's the market that's doing all these extra jazz. So therefore, you just put your focus there because that's where the money at. The money is actually on the psychology aspect of it. You have to remember that. You have to believe that, because that's what it is. That's why 95% of traders fail. I want to say 97%, but I give Justin the 5%. Right? So you have to understand how psychology works. Your behavior and your state of mind becomes your feelings and your thoughts. And that drive you to make mistakes. that drive you to do negative things in the market, that drive you to take the wrong entry, that drives you to take the early entries and the late entries and get out of a trade because you're so afraid you're going to lose everything that you gain, right? Or if it's going against you, right? You say, oh, you know what? I could move my stop a little lower because it's getting close to stop me out. Well, you didn't plan for the trade, so therefore your mind is not at peace. So why to come back and stop you out? But you have to plan for it. You have to be neutral. You have to see it. You have to have your setup prior to actually getting into the trade. And if you can do that, regardless of what the outcome is, you can live with it, and you should live with it. Because you're training your mind to say, well, that's what I know, that's what I see, and that's what my stop is going to be, and that's what my target is going to be, and I'm going to leave it there regardless. You train your mind to be neutral. Once you make a decision, go with it. Otherwise, you're destroying yourself, you're destroying your trading career because you're not disciplined enough to do the work. That's what it comes down to ultimately, is doing the work. Okay? So I just want to stop here for a second. Can everybody hear me?
Hello. Yes, everyone can hear you, Mark.
Okay,
everyone can hear you.
So I could carry on, right?
Yep.
All right. So is there any questions so far?
No. Just Justin had to leave for some meeting.
No worries. So we still got Richie and Delvin,
yes,
right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Good stuff. So I'll continue. There's no question. I'll continue to keep going.
Yeah. If there are questions, Richard or Dalvin, let us know. Yeah. No, I think they're fine.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah.
So let's carry on. All right. So understand that this is extremely important, guys. If you don't get anything out of trading, get this part of it, because eventually this part will carry you on to your ultimate goals. Okay. But at the same time, there's other things that comes with it. So let's keep going. So again, based on what I was referring to, we often hear this thing called psychology, the market psychology, and I'm sure everyone who's been trading for some time, you heard them terms before, market psychology. All right, I'm here to tell you there isn't a such thing as market psychology. There's not. The market is who the market is, and it's going to behave exactly the way it always has been. It doesn't change for anyone or anything, right? It's the psychology that lives in your mind, as we spoke about, your thoughts and your feelings, right? Your behavior, your state of mind, right? Which your feelings and your thought come from those things. When you make your mistakes and you blaming the market, you blaming everything else except for yourself, right? That's what drives your behavior. That's what drives your state of mind. That's what allows your subconscious to analyze your past behavior to your current behavior, and eventually help you make decisions, right? Ultimately, your mind, your state of mind was created to help you create shortcuts, right? If you do something long enough, then automatically you do it without thinking. Just like as a man, I wake up in the morning and take a shower and put my pants on. I don't think about how I'm going to put my pants on. Or you know what? I'm gonna put one leg in, and I'm gonna put my right leg in, my left leg in, and I'm gonna pull my pants up. It doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? You've been doing it for so long, to a point where I just wake up in the morning and do it. I don't think twice. That's what your mind was designed to do. Once you do something so often, it becomes clockwork. Where psychology, that's what's helping this to occur. Once you do one thing, it passes through your conscience to your subconscious, and it stays there for another confirmation at a different time. If you do the same thing again, and eventually it confirmed that, then it help you to just do it naturally. That's why sometimes when you take a bad trade, it's almost a guarantee moving forward, if you don't try to straighten it out, if you don't take that responsibility, eventually it will happen again. Whether you enter too early or too late, you move your stop loss a little further down because you thought you was going to get stopped. That's just the way it works. That's just the way your mind is designed. So you have to be aware of those things and fix them. That's why you're supposed to have a plan, right? And you're supposed to have strict rules for that plan and stick with it. Not just have it because it looked good, it sounds good, but also you got to stick with it, right? And practice the psychology daily. So I say to you again, there isn't a such thing as market psychology. The only psychology there is the one that lives in your mind, and that's the one you need to work on a day-to-day. And most importantly, it's important that to know it's something that you have to work on it each and every day, right? And it can't be a sometime thing. Otherwise, it's going to be a disaster. So for every level that you reach, okay, for every level, and this is important. Well, all the stuff that I'm talking about is important, but this is more in particular. For every level that you reach, you will notice that you need psychology even more, right? If you're in a losing streak, it drives you. You're thinking that you could win everything that you lost in one trade, so therefore you try to put a little bit more percentage into the trade, and then it go against you. It drives you deeper into the water. Right? You have to be mindful of that. There has to be a plan. For every level on the positive side that you reach, your psychology level has to kind of change to adapt. So it's a lot of work that needs to be here. It's not just looking at charts, but it's really looking at the psychology aspect of it. That's what's going to drive you. That's what's going to get you to keep going and get you to the ultimate goal, which is becoming a profitable professional trader. All right. So what are we talking about here when we talk about market psychology, which is not a thing, right? Well, let me give you my version of the actual market, just so you get an understanding of how to overcome this phenomenon, right? Which account for 95% of failures of traders in the market. Okay. Well, the way I see it, the market is who the market is. In my mind, the market is every trade that you see, regardless how good it look or how bad it look, is still a 50-50 thing. And that's how you have to look at it to stay neutral. It can go your way, it could go against you, regardless how good it look, right? But if you follow your strategy to the T, more often than not, it may work out better for you. Okay, the market is like this attractive things. You know, it's this. That's why it's the $1 trillion industry. It knows it's attractive. It knows that every trader wants to be in the market. There's a heck of a lot of money. There's endless amount of money that you can make if you're good enough, if you're disciplined enough, right? All these extra jazz. It knows it's it knows all of those things. Well, think of the market as this beautiful girl as we're looking at in the screen right now, right? This model. She knows she's sexy. She knows she has everything going for her, and she liked the way she is, and she liked the attention that she's getting. Similar to the market loved the attention because everybody come in there and spend their money, right? And hoping to make profit. Well, the girl is actually the same way. Well, if you want to be with this girl, she loves the attention. She knows she's sexy. She knows every guy wants her. And if you want to be with her, then the only way you're going to be with this woman, because she's not willing to change her way. The market is not going to change its way either. You take the market as it comes. That's why you got to take what the market gives you. So with this woman, it's the same thing. If that's your girlfriend, she's not willing to change. What is the only way to be with her if she's not willing to change? Because she loves everything that comes with who she is. You have to adapt and make the changes within yourself to make a decision. Do I want to be with her knowing that she loved the attention, knowing that she knows she's had everything every guy ever want? The only way you're going to be with her is to make the adjustment. So if the market is not acting the way you would like the market to act, then you have to make adjustment. Like right now, volatility is not in the best stage. Guess what? Rustam and I, we changed our strategy and we start Skyping, which is what you're learning now. The market is not going to adapt for you. You have to make the decision and say, okay, I see what's going on, so I'm just going to change the way I do things, right? I'm going to change the way I do things and adapt to what the market wants to give me, and I'm going to take it. So I hope I wasn't rumbling now. I hope this analogy makes sense to you. If you want to be with the market, you have to make the adapt. You have to adapt to what the market behavior is at the time. That's the only way it's going to work. This girl is not going to change for you. She made that very, very clear. She's not going to change. So if you want to be with her, you better adapt. And if you don't want to adapt to her style, to how she do things, then you need to leave her alone and move on to the next girl. If the market don't want to act the way you want the market to work, you can't get mad because you knew this going in. Maybe you need to go wash cars or something. Do something else. And that's how the market is. It has no feelings towards any traders, no matter how much money it takes from you. It has no feelings at all. You have a decision to make. Whether you want to be with the market, if so, do the work. Make the adapted. And let's move on. I'm going to stop here for a second. Do we have any questions? Am I still on air? Am I just talking to myself?
Hello, no, I can hear you. I'm sure everyone else can.
Good stuff.
So, yeah. Do you have any questions, Richard or Dalvin? No, everyone is still there. I hope that they are taking it all in.
Good stuff. All right, yep. So we're almost there. Supposed to be real quick, but it's taking a little longer. So I hope I'm not bored, and this guy says I'm not getting any questions. All right, so
Richard says the hardest part for him is to control the losses, but now there is no controlling the losses. Yeah, it just comes as it goes.
Exactly. So you drive yourself crazy trying to control the losses, right? And that's what I meant when I said, it's definitely in your best interest, and that's the only way is to take the losses just like you took the wins. I have no ill feeling towards the market. Whether it's a win or a loss, I look at it the same way. I don't get happy. I don't get excited if it's a win, and I don't get sad or I don't get mad when it's a loss. I don't even think about the wins and the losses at all. Because if you're gonna put a number on the wins and losses, again, you're training your mind to be the opposite, right? You must be neutral in all causes. That's the only way you're gonna be able to move forward. And I know this is harder. This is easier said than done, but that comes with experience. Eventually, I know you've been trading for a while, Richard, but you have to train your mind in every aspect of the game. Trust me. The winning and the losses, it works the same way. You have to train your mind for that as well, to be neutral. I could care less if the next trade that I take today, it's a win or a loss. I could care less, right? Because I know if I do the right things, if I plan my trades and I take the trade, then I'm at peace with it. Then it is what it is at that point because I plan for it. It's the trades that's going to that you take too early or you got in too late. Those are the ones that's really gotten you to the stage that you're in now. The feeling that you have right now, controlling the losses, you can't control the losses because you don't know what's going to happen. Remember, I said the market is a 50-50 thing. And we know that going in. So if you know that going in, then what's to get mad about, right? If I know every trade that I take, it's a 50% chance I'm going to win it, it's a 50% chance I'm going to lose it, then what am I worrying about, right? It doesn't make sense to do that. You can't, there's a saying that goes that I always use, you can't pray to God or whoever you pray to and worry at the same time. It just doesn't work. You can't worry, then pray to God. That just doesn't work. Either you're gonna pray to God and just put it in His hand and just keep moving forward, or you just gonna worry. You gotta do one or the other. You can't do both. All right. So don't try to control the losses. Control how you take the trades. Control when you get in the trade, when you get out of the trade. Control planning the trade prior to actually taking it. That will actually put you at peace if you plan it, because you know at that point where you're going to get in, where you're going to get out. And if it doesn't happen, there's many other trades that's going to be in the charts. So take one of those. All right. So hopefully I was able to clarify and make a bit of sense to that.
Yeah, he also says that he has that the biggest part is not to overtrade after losing.
Well, that's a very straightforward thing, and that's an easy thing to fix. For myself and Rustin know this very well, and we both do the same thing. If you have two losing trades in back to back, you are done for the day, my friend. I don't care if it's $2 or a penny. There's no sense of trading. At that point, I don't turn my computer off. I go and evaluate, right? What did I do wrong? And that's a habit that you need to get into each and every day. You do not take another trade. That's another rule that you probably need to add to your plan. You do not take another trade until you actually evaluate, especially at the beginning stage. And that might be something more for you, Dalvin. You do not take two trades in a row without evaluating the first trade, whether it's a win or loss. You need to see what you could have done differently. You need to know exactly were you pleased with that trade. And that's how you become great. Michael Jordan didn't become great at playing basketball just by shooting the basketball and then move on. No, he goes home and study himself, his behaviors, what he does wrong, what he does right, and keep working on the things that he can improve on each and every day. No professional athlete, nobody that is great at something, that don't have or don't know the details of the behaviors. You have to know the detail. What did you do wrong on the last trade? What did you do right? How can you make this trade better moving forward? Because one thing I know for a fact, the market repeats itself. One way or another, the patterns repeat itself. So that's how you become good at this. You have to evaluate your trade. You can't just take a trade and not screenshot it from your entries and from the time you enter the trade and the time that you get out, and not knowing exactly what actually transpired between that time and move on to take the next trade. How are you supposed to get better? The way you get better is to evaluate each one of your trades. And if you get to a certain level, then you could do it once a week on the weekends, right? But at the beginning stages, especially when you try to learn a new strategy, it is vital that each trade that you take, before you move on to your second trade, evaluate that first one first and see the things that you could get better at.
Well, he has another question. I think I'm going to answer this one because it's something that Mark has a presentation on as well. Yeah, this question. Does that apply only for trades in a row, or one loss, or one win, or one loss, etc.? Now, Richard, Mark has a thing called the power of quitting. But that's a very long lesson in itself. And that comes in after you've done this first. It's with this, just take your losses as they come. You have your training wheels on, and you are taking at 0.1. So you are trying to calculate what your percentages are. So if you're winning or losing trades in a row, just keep on going, get the statistics behind your belt, and then study the statistics afterwards. But your question on, does that apply only for 2 trades, losses in a row, 1 win or whatever, that is something Mark has something called the power of quitting. And that is like an advanced lesson that you will do once you just get rid of your training wheels here first. Yeah, Richard, are you okay with that? Because otherwise it's going to take 4 hours.
Yeah. We definitely don't want to do that. Not today. It's supposed to be a very brief thing. It's taking some time already. All right. So, but we don't mind anything that we need to do to help. We're here to do it. All right. So we have about 6 more slides. So let's go through it. If there's no more questions, is Devin okay?
Dalvin, just confirm that you are still there with us. Because I feel that with I know Dalvin for a while, and I know what he is going to need is a lot of this psychology stuff, I believe.
Yeah, so let's make sure he's still with us and he doesn't have any questions before I move forward, because this part right here with this slide we have on the screen is extremely important. So hopefully I was able to get through with that, give you a insight of how the market it's looking at us in a review type.
Yeah. So I'm not getting confirmation that he's here, but he is here on paper. He's an attendee here, but I don't. He's not responding.
So if he's not responding most of the time, he's not actually there. So, but we'll carry on to the next slide.
Yeah.
All right. So
it's being recorded, so you can also watch the recording at a later stage.
Okay. So with knowing this information, right, how do we overcome this phenomenon, right? This thing it's proven, and that's not my word. That's just research, right? Of this thing is 95 to 97% account for traders just losing everything they have in the market. How do we get rid of that? How do we overcome this phenomenon, right? Well, we have to find a way to get rid of the clusters in our lives. And that's where it starts. And that's the reason why there isn't a such thing as market psychology. It's really the one that lives in your mind, as I explained at the very, very beginning. Less is more. You have to understand that. And what do I mean by that? Get rid of the clusters. You have to become extremely organized. That's where it starts, right? So if your mind is clouded from personal, relations, whatever that is, whether it's family related, whether it's girlfriend's problems, and whether it's work problem, or whether it's just life in general that's just taking you for a ride, those things plays a part. And remember, we talk about psychology is the behavior in the state of mind. So if your personal life is in trouble, if your personal life is not at a stage where you're at ease, then obviously that's going to drive your psychology, and that's going to drive you to be indifferent when it comes to the market, because you have too much going on. So what we have to do is that to overcome this phenomenon, we have to get rid of the clusters, right? We have to be a little more organized in our personal life. There's a saying that goes, there's no such thing as having business issues. You have personal issues which you bring into your business. That's just the way it works. You don't have business problem. You have personal problem, right? And you bring those personal problems, these baggages into your business, which causing you to have issues in your workplace. So let's be organized. Let's have less in our mind to work with, and have a clear mind when we get into the market, and practice what we need, what we preach each and every day, in order for us to be able to move forward in our trading. Get rid of it. Less is more. Let's be organized. Let's know what our day is going to look like. Right? For me, I have two boys, two young babies. Right? If I know I have a doctor's appointment in the morning for one of them, then, I don't need to be thinking about it. Right? So, but if I have this written somewhere, or if I have my alarm set and knowing that at this time that I have to leave the house, then I'm not thinking about it. But if you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about what you have to do for the day, then obviously, you fill your brain with a bunch of jazz that doesn't need to be there. When you get into the market, it's going to be enough that you need to focus versus having to think about everything else. Let's just clean everything you have at your desk or wherever you trade it. Just clean your life up, and be organized. That way you can have a clear head coming into the market. So if I didn't have a good night's sleep, I don't trade. Right? If my wife and I unfortunately have a disagreement and whatever we talked about it's sort of bothering me, I don't trade, because I know my personal life would eventually affect my trading. You may not realize it until you take 3, 4, 5 losses in a row, and you still may not realize that's what's actually happening. But it's because physically, subconsciously, you're not actually trading. You just at your desk pressing button. Because your mind is actually somewhere else, because you're thinking about other things in your personal life versus thinking about the market. And at the moment, it's not going to look or seem that's the case, right? It's not. It's going to seem like, because you're at your desk and your computer, you see the chart, it's going to seem that's what you're doing, trading, but in reality, you're really not. Your mind is somewhere else, and that's called for a disaster. You have to understand the way that psychologists work. It's your behavior, it's your state of mind. It's your behavior that creates your state of mind, which creates your feelings and your thoughts. And going to the market, you have to be neutral. Because the market don't care nothing about you. It has no feeling towards you. So you have to adapt to the market, not the market adapting to you. Okay? So, moving forward, what is it going to take in order for us to get to the end goal? Well, first, it's going to take commitment. All of these things that I talked about, you're going to have to commit to them. But not only just commit, you have to 120% commit. You have to decide, do you want to be with that girl that you know the way she is? You know what comes with her. You have to decide. You have to commit. Either you're going to be with her or you're going to move on to the next person. Well, you have to decide. It comes to a time where you have to decide with the market. Are you willing to work on your psychology each and every day? Are you willing to do mindset work before you get into the charts? Are you willing to evaluate the chart? Are you willing to understand the rules that you set and decided if you're going to keep those rules and be strict with them or not? Right? Give me 1 second. No. Sorry about that. So you have to be willing to commit. And there's no other way around it. You can't actually start a journey without commitment. Commitment comes first. Otherwise, you're never going to start. You hear people often says, "Hey, at the beginning of the year, I'm gonna work on losing weight. I have New Year resolution." But at this point, it's November. Well, why don't you start now? Why aren't you committed now? Why are you waiting for the New Year's to come? There's 2 months that you're wasting. Well, Thanksgiving is coming, and you can't make a decision and you can't make a commitment to not eat all that good food during Thanksgiving time. So therefore, the New Year's is the best time because I get to do what I want to do one last time during Thanksgiving, eat up all I can eat, right? And I realize what that's doing is that it's building your mind to gain a few more pounds before trying to lose it in the new year, right? And then what happened when the new year comes, people will go hard for 2 weeks. And then after they realize that it takes a lot more work, not just 2 weeks, it takes day in, day out, week in, week out, before you start losing the weight because your body have to adjust to the new version of yourself. And only then, when you start doing things differently and you have a schedule, you have an eating schedule, you have a waking up schedule, you have a workout schedule, only then your body will start reacting differently. Because it's been doing the same thing for the last 20, 30, 40 years. And all of a sudden you're asking your body to do something different in a very short period of time, it's not going to react well. It takes time for your body to commit. And so, okay, I see what's happening. I'm getting nutrition. I'm getting better food. And yet I'm not intaking all the sugary that I was intaking before. This is a new version. This is something different. So I need to figure a way to react differently towards it. Right? That's the method. And it all comes to commitment. So don't wait till tomorrow to commit. Don't wait until the next hour to commit. Don't wait until next week to commit. Let's commit now and start working now. Not today, not the hour from now, not tomorrow. Let's commit now. That will let you know how serious you are about your craft. So commitment. Have tunnel vision with this commitment, right? But it doesn't stop there, because once you finally commit 120%, now you have to be consistent with those commitments. That's the only way, because that's what's going to get you. Consistency is what's going to get you to the end result, to the finish line, to the light at the end of the tunnel. It's commitment. There have to be commitment for those. There have to be consistency for those commitments, because you already commit and say, "This is what I want to do. I want to be a trader." You commit to that. So let's do the work each and every day, which is the consistency of it each and every day towards this commitment that we make. Because without it, you would never get to the end result. Without it, you would never get to the market. Without staying neutral, you were always thinking about wins and losses. Without staying neutral, you will always think that the market is going to behave a different way. Without being neutral, you're always going to be counting your X and O's. And you don't want to do that. You have to commit. Committed that, the market is going to be who the market is. That girlfriend of yours is going to be who that girlfriend is. She loved the attention. She knows she's beautiful. She's not going to change for you. And you know that. The market knows it's attractive. The market knows every trader wants to win. The markets know you can make millions and millions of dollars if you understand what you're doing. It knows that. But it doesn't want to change. We have to make the commitment within ourselves and accept what the market is giving us and take it for what it is and keep pushing forward. Only then we will have what we want. Only then the market will start slowing down. It will start slowing down. It will start slowing down more and more, because you adapt to it. You understand. You're at peace with it. You understand the market is going to move the way the market always has moved. And it doesn't change for everybody, for anybody. That girlfriend, once you slow down and accept her for who she is, she's going to start slowing down eventually, because you are going to be different in her mind. Trust me, you are going to be different in the market mind because you accept the way the market is. And all you're doing, you're playing your game. And because of that, the market is going to reward you and say, this trader is different. You went from the 95% of failure, the market going to put you on the 3 to 5% of winning people that's out, traders that's out there, which is very few. That's how the market rewards you. But at first, you got to play the game and adapt to the game and make those adjustments. Because if you can't make those adjustments, the market's going to laugh at it and keep moving. That girlfriend going to drive you crazy if you're not willing to adapt to the way she does things. You will drive yourself crazy, and eventually you're going to find yourself in deep water. You don't want that. All right? So, what do we do here? So, learning to accept the market and learn to control it. Not only learn to control the market, because we can't control the market without controlling our emotion, our thoughts and feelings. We simply can't. We have to accept the market and control our emotions and thoughts and feelings. Only then we move forward. So with knowing that, it doesn't matter what is true. It's really only what you believe as a trader to be true. Because if you do the work, trust me, it will become true. Whatever your goal, your desire is with the market, whether it's making $1 million, whether it's making 100,000, or whatever the case may be, within time it will happen. So it doesn't really matter what is true. Only what you believe. Because if you do the work, trust me, whatever your desire is, it will become true. But you have to believe that. You have to believe in your ability in order for that to work. So what we can promise you here is it's you know, it's the difference between the life you're currently living and your dream and that you're inspired to become a professional trader and you know, I guess make all the money in the world versus the current life is simply the work you're willing to do when no one is looking. All right. If you're just doing it for everybody else, then obviously that becomes an issue. Right? You have to be willing to do the hard work when no one is looking, as you would do it when someone is looking over your shoulder. That's when you know you're up to something. You got to do the work. There's no way around it. I can't teach you psychology to help you not do the work. It doesn't work that way. You have to do the work. So again, I think too much focus in the industry go towards I show a chart versus this. This is the key to success. If you're able to master this, if you're able to prioritize this, which is the psychology aspect of it, you can learn the trading. The trading is not difficult. You can learn the trading within time. This is the thing that you eventually, in every stage that you get to, if you get to the halfway mark, you're almost there to meet your prop trading account, then it requires for you to have a different mindset, right? A different level of psychology. And when you get closer to that one trade, you need one more trade to qualify. You have to kick psychology to another gear. So this thing is a constant thing. It's not a one-time thing. It's a continued evaluation to get you to the end result. That's why it's so difficult, because you could get very close and then mess up. One slip up, then two slip up. Before you know it, it keep driving you to make mistake. And it's then you got to realize and take responsibility and say, no, this is not my usual take on things. This is not how I do things. Let me regroup and get back on the winning side of things. You got to do the work. And I will leave you with my final saying. This is my saying, and I love it, and I say it to people all the time. Success is not about what you, as a person, as a trader, want to do. It's not about what you want to do. You want to make $1 million, that's what you want to do. But it's not about you making $1 million. It's about the things that you must do. The things that you must do, which is keeping your psychology sharp, commit 120%, and have consistency to back up this commitment. Those are the things most people don't want to do. Those are the things the billionaires and the millionaires are doing. This is the things that they must do, not what they want to do. I want to go out this weekend with my friends and drink my life away, right? I want to party with my girlfriend. I want to go to a barbecue with my family, friends, and so on and so forth. Those are the things that we want to do, but that's not success. Those are the things that are after success. The things that you must do is say, you know what, girlfriend, or you know what, family, I'm gonna just stay home this weekend, and I'm gonna study some charts. Now we getting somewhere. You're doing the things that you must do, because nobody wants to do the dirty work. Everybody wants to have fun, which is all the things they want to do. But the things that you must do are not fun. Those are things that you do because you have to do them in order for you to get to the end result. And that's how your psychology becomes sharp. By doing the work and understanding where this is going to get you eventually. I'll leave you guys with this. So,
okay, excellent. That's perfect. That's perfect. Do we have any questions from anybody there? This is definitely the most difficult part of it, is the trading psychology. This whole process here is trying to make that the things that you must do is a bit more bearable. Like, we've created a set of rules. Now, the thing is, you must follow those rules. Is at least now you know what it is you must do, sort of a thing. Or we've given you the time when to trade. So you know that is the time that you must wake up, and you must do that. So, but working out what it is you must do is what we've also tried to give you here. So it makes it more simple. Yeah. So, and this is a lot more with trading psychology, and that is concerned. But as you can see, it takes a long time to get the idea across. That introduction is just the basis of what needs to be done. There is actual physical exercises and physical work that gets you to the state of mind that you're supposed to be in. Yeah, when we are trading. We're gonna have to end it off here. It's an hour and 45. This thing is supposed to be 45 minutes.
So I will apologize. I get very into this because I'm deeply into the psychology things, and I understand what it does to you physically, mentally, and you need it. That goes for anything that you do in life in general, especially as a trader. It's hard as it is already, but it's even harder if your psychology is all over the place. So that's why, with the psychology course, it's 6 weeks long, right? To eventually try to get you to the right state of mind. So the full course is 6 weeks. This is just a quick, brief 12 slides of PowerPoint that I put together just to kind of talk to you guys. So I know it's been a while. I've been going for 54 minutes already on 12 slides. So I'm just going to shut up at this point.
Okay, excellent. Thanks a lot for that, Mark. So we're going to have to continue the next session, which is looking at live charts. And we definitely not in the right state now, because we all have fatigue here. Our eyes are tired looking at the screen. So that's now not the right state of mind to look at the charts. We need a fresh mind. So we're going to have to look at that either tomorrow which is Thursday or the last trading day of the week. But I'll keep you posted as to when we will do this last section, because we need obviously practice on how to find the setups and on which pairs we need to look, and what is the best way of setting up your chart to be able to scan through the market better. So that is going to be in the next session. So thanks a lot, Mark, and for everyone who's attended, and this video will be recorded.